Is he gonna do the dance? Oh my god. I didn't even know it was behind me. It's me watching on camera. I'm even more scared now.
What? No one.
No one saw it. Only the camera got it.
We were out there traveling and I had
Horrible footing on that stage from what I remember. This is where I messed up over here when I transitioned that low plate right there. I transitioned my hands over the plate and I couldn't find it. That was really the only thing I lost points big time on the stage. I was really looking for some points. I think I only dropped like 2 or 3 points on the stage. I could have taken a little bit more on the move there, but again, I was really trying to get points. The barrels actually cover more than the video shows. You have no Charlie on the left side of the target. But here, this was a really good mixture of I wanted to stay in control the whole from the first shot to the last. So he's just moving his hips to the right when he wants to move them to the left, really. And the gun's on that side. A lot of upper body movement too. It's detached. His lower and upper bodies are not working together. Yeah, I call it being engaged behind the gun. You've heard me say it before. It's just like he's moving over there and waiting for everything to settle, and because it's not moving at the same time, it takes longer to settle. And then when you're actually taking steps, it's even worse, right? His natural point of like that working space to do loads and stuff like that is with the gun up to, and it makes a weird presentation to the gun when he goes back out. See how it comes up? A lot of places in Europe, you do that, point over the berm like that, even if there's not an AD, you're DQ'd. What kind of turd? Up, right foot again. Now, I just worked with Jim not too long ago on a couple things, and the grip pressure is one of the big things we've been working on. And here, there's definitely a lack of grip pressure. I'm not going to go over how we're doing it, but he knows. I think grip pressure is one of the big things of this match that we're going to continue to say. Grip's low, not enough pressure. Mr. Martin here actually did some pretty good stuff at the beginning. Stepped the right foot. He actually shot it kind of like I would have shot if I had a little bit more rounds. We even talked about the star. You know, that star, especially with iron sights, I want to stay on the same side. So like I went left, right, 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 right. But I couldn't remember the sequence. And he helped me out on that. So I appreciate that, David. Oh, wrong foot. So he's good. He's good. He's still good. It's right after this load. He goes to the wrong target. And now he's in this conscious mindset and freaking out a little bit. Right there. So he still hadn't called up yet. It's like, oh, God, what am I doing? Oh, moved. Oh, no, don't move, God. And then right here, he's like, oh, God, just don't mess up on the still. It's this. It conscious fell apart when he went to the wrong target. Right from the beginning, just got in front. Now they shot it different here. Matt actually kind of went to the outside, and actually they almost start when they transition opposites the same, but Matt messed up there with the load or how he shot. I think when he transitioned, he didn't do the load, shot one target, and then had to do like the flat-footed load. He's really killing it on shooting points right now, but he's letting that dictate everything instead of the stage dictate how he shoots. And, right off the bat, he draws a gun, and maybe he's a little tense, whatever. He's just not He's absolutely settling everything like it's a bullseye shot. Like, like a number 4 shot where everything has to be perfect, perfect sight alignment, perfect hold, perfect trigger pull, all that stuff, when it's not necessary. Giving the target way too much respect. And then he kind of breaks out of it once he gets going. He fucked up right there. He should have reloaded and went into there. Now, I think that might have actually been his stage plan, though. Actually looking at it the second time. I just think it was a bad stage plan. You want to try to get that reload. There's not enough steps there to make it worth it, so you got to get in the biggest transition, and it would be from target to target from the left to right. I think something like just simply visualizing the stage more for somebody like Matt on this instance would be huge, without changing anything else, but actually, and say he's probably going over it once or twice in his head, go over it 20 times in your head. Close your eye and know every little detail, what your feet are going to do, what the gun's going to do, what the target's going to look like, everything. He's not doing that detail, so it's so fresh and new to him. You know, this was a hard stage right off the bat because it's 10 shots for 11, and a lot of people were destroyed before they even walked up to the line because they're like, oh my God, 6 plates, It was a challenging stage, but it wasn't too hard to do. So even myself, I like being a little bit more aggressive here, but I held back a little bit just because, again, I didn't want to have to, fix a mistake. I didn't want to have to reload and go to the next position to shoot 1-2, still making another load.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Wrong decision, in my opinion, here to draw into the steel. Static load killed you right there. Low hit factor, you can eat the time, but points are worth more. But on the first position, you didn't have to shoot 10 shots. You could have shot 4, loaded, and then moved out and had 11 for 6. So that would have been the ultra conservative way of doing it. I think the fastest way of doing it would have been draw and take a step out and shoot all 10 of them, and take that one position out. That even though you're running by there anyway, but you didn't have to be static again. They're just a little bit too far to really take on the move aggressively.
Are you ready?
Good. He had one mistake there, but he fixed it. He didn't break the shot. He corrected it. A little bit of anticipation. Maybe the grip was a little weak. He definitely changed his stance and grip and a little bit of everything when he went to those plates from that paper. But he felt it, and he had enough control to settle it right there. If you try to do it on the plates, it's going to bite you a lot more than those paper. So you don't have to be so... the footwork, it's not about how fast your footwork is here. It's about getting one step further towards your next position as you do something, as you draw. Just putting multiple things together. And he does make it harder for the draw. And if you notice, he kind of draws and then moves versus actually merging it together. And, when you go to the right and move that right leg and the gun moves, I do like to get my hand in contact on the gun before that right leg moves. But to the left, there's no point in that. That's kind of a better example in the draw there of stepping and drawing, but he stepped before he drew. It wasn't kind of at the same time, so his draw was a little late. A lot smoother of a movement though there. It's that lanky build you see a lot of times with the guys. They kind of lean back on their heels there, and it definitely makes harder moving the gun around and stopping it. His grip's low on the gun there too. But his grip pressure looked a lot better than the last stage we saw. That weak thumb pointing up at like a 45-degree angle to the muzzle should be parallel. See, his thumb and his grip position looks a lot better. He just don't have any grip pressure. So the gun's moving within his grip. They should be moving together as one unit. Oh yeah, he gets paid more than anyone else on the range from these guys. Orbital mechanics, the best welders in the triangle for sure. Well, I got a little bit of insider knowledge here too. See, I know that Justin right now plates are in his head. He is scared to death of a plate right now, and just no confidence whatsoever. So he's going to do this load, and he's going to stop everything he can to try to hit these 3 plates over. It takes him, what, 5 shots. Now, Dennis, he's not scared of anything. He don't care. He's like the honey badger. So he comes over here, I'm not going to aim. Look this, bam, bam. Gets him. No one can do that. Look at that. Lucky bastard. Well, you know, there's a couple guys out there that, you know, have made a living shooting with the mentality of balls out, going hardcore, and then even with the makeups. A lot of times you can have 3 makeups and still beat you. And talking about the little Filipino Casey Asubio. So I kind of put Dennis in that. It's funny because Dennis is super accurate too, though. He'll shoot all A's, but also have that mentality where he can switch it on like that. Now I haven't shot with him much, but I've seen it a couple times, and you know, Casey does it every single time, no matter what, and it's amazing. He'll beat you with 10 extra shots, you know, and it's kind of a hard mentality to have. It's not so easy to say be fast, you know, and just shoot until it's down.
The 3 shots I took, I don't think I... Are you ready? Bye.
Something happened, like he adjusted his grip, didn't it, right there? I think what it was is he drew the gun, he was tense, he didn't have his grip pressure on the gun, engaged 2 shots, and then got his grip pressure. That's what it looked like. That gun's moving around a lot with that grip pressure. One of these targets, not this one, not the 3 still, right after the 3 still here, he kind of shoots over the gun again. And the trigger finger and a lot of movement in that reload. The trigger finger came way off, not up just to the frame. See, this is exactly what I was saying about the KC Asubio syndrome, or Dennis O. I don't know what. Let's say KC. Let's just say KC syndrome. If he had the KC syndrome here, he wouldn't have shot 1 shot with that poor shot. He would have hammered it until you nailed it and went to the next one, and he would have lost some time, yes, but he wouldn't have lost that much time. The worst case is actually having that aimed shot, missing it, moving, and then having to come back. That killed him. I mean, you're looking at. We can probably figure this out somewhere around 3 seconds, I'm guessing. You can't. This was one of the. I try to really go hard on this stage, and even in production, with every time I moved my feet, I had to do like 8 reloads. It was still a high hit factor because it was just a lot of shooting and hardly any footwork at all, movement-wise. And yeah, I mean this. I'm trying to remember on this. I think it was like a 9 or a 10 hit factor. So essentially, 1 second is worth 9 or 10 stage points. Or excuse me, match points on this. But you can have makeups on the steel, you just can't have slow makeups. You can't have transitions back to makeup. And that's what he did on every one of these. It's like he's I don't think it was a sight issue. The sights looked like they were there. He's just yanking on the trigger. It's like he forgot trigger control all of a sudden. Yeah, he's locked out. I would tell him, I like your arms as far as they'll go, but I don't want any joint locked ever when you shoot. No knee, no elbows.
Shooter ready, stand by.
So what kind of gun is he shooting there? What is that thing? First off, that needs to go. Nobody, I mean, it's great you have a gun, but if you're going to take this serious, you got to get something that's competitive. That's just not it. I would say the same thing about the shirt, but that's, you know, to each his own. He's, you know, one thing I like about this guy, I actually, I didn't really meet him. We talked a little bit, but he's got some natural speed ability. Like he's got a little bit. He's not your average guy as far as on the speed wise. He's got this killer instinct about him. He wants to go fast. The first couple stages actually slowed him down because he went so fast. He started aiming and changed his game plan a little bit, but. So that's a SIG 320. So it's not a bad gun. It's just not the best gun. A couple things there just on footwork. He's just, you know, he got caught up in that reload, and instead of, you know, everything paused. His footwork paused, and then it was this real awkward moment when he finally got it in there. Leaning back, stance, grip. I mean, your common things. His grip pressure is not bad. He's on the gun good, but I think the way he's obtaining the grip pressure is slowing him down. Where does the eyes go? Eyes, footwork. That's what the stage was all about. So one of the big things on this stage, and this is great to practice, is make sure your eyes lead and the gun follows. A lot of people get following the sights around and pushing the sights to the target versus the sights going to the target because you're looking at it. And this is a perfect example of, you know, not being any faster as far as shooting-wise, just the transitions here was huge. People on the reload, their eyes were going everywhere but where they needed to go. They're always behind on what they're visually doing. Way too many steps at the beginning there. He took an extra step. He could actually just done what I call a drag step, just, you know, literally take a step with the left foot and kind of drag his right foot over there. He stepped with his right, stepped with his left, and then stepped his right foot down again. He had a plan here to do it. Really going into the last position was great, but he didn't have enough rounds, and he should have just been a little bit more cognitive as far as, wait a minute, I had makeup. I got to change my reload plan. If you're gonna push it like that, you see my face. I'm even disgusted with it. But if you're gonna have a plan like that, it's on the edge. You got to have a backup plan, and at least thought about it, even visualized it possibly. You know, depending on how hard you're gonna approach the stage. If you're gonna really approach it and try to be aggressive, you've got to actually have a good, solid plan to get back on track. And that completely went over his head. You know. He unloads the gun better than probably anyone on the range. Look at this. Yep, pretty good. What is he doing? Looks like he needs a bath.
Yeah, you get.
See what happens there.
Are you ready? Stand by.
A little slow on the load. This next one was not the same. This is pretty interesting coming up here. I had a trigger freeze, but my weekend had already left, so I had to improvise a little bit there. It cost me a little bit of time.
Dude, that was almost fast as 15 flat. 15. 15. Yeah.
happy with it. Obviously, I didn't plan on doing that, but, you know, fortunately, the target allowed me to do that. If the target would have been like that same partial at like 20 yards, obviously, I'm going to have to do a load, shoot one more shot, and then get on to the next position. So it didn't cost me as much as it could have. But I was happy that I was able to recover from it. Well, two things happened on that stage. So on the right after that happened, I dropped 4 Charlies, 8 points on 2 targets. And with the time and that mistake of 4 shots, that's why I didn't win overall. And honestly, I think if you look there, 14.6 was the fastest time, and I was 15 flat. So I probably would have been a 14.5. So I'd have had the fastest time, and I would have had 8 better points. And Todd, who was it? Todd Jesse won it. He beat me by 10 points on stage, and I'd have had 8 more points. So it would probably been pretty close. I probably wouldn't have won it. With that hit factor, if you think about it, it'd almost been a tie. It's been a point either way. It's a hard stage with production, you know, open or production. He didn't have to reload at all. I had to reload how many times? 3 times? I've shot nationals and reloaded less. So Justin actually got out there. It's kind of funny because I think last time we superimposed these two together, Dennis got out there front, right? Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't with Justin, was it? And then Matt just lost his shit going in the last position because he got in front on Dennis for a little bit there. Dennis was by far the slowest reaction. Then Justin. Justin gets in front right here. Then Matt and Dennis are almost identical, but Dennis actually gets the load in and first shot off. He backs out, gets the load done again. So again, the steal, Justin actually did this visual confirmation on the hits that killed him leaving that first position.
Justin did?
Justin did. Watch Justin. He is first on the target, last to leave. Did you see that? Yeah. Dennis and Matt are pretty close on all that. Matt is definitely shooting slower, though. There's so much confirmation. He doesn't need to aim that hard to get what he wants. Transitions are big here. Justin is a lot more efficient in the footwork in the transition. So is Dennis. Matt's just seeing everything. He's seeing too much.
Now,
yeah, you know, we all saw this reload kind of happen on the stage. I mean, look, all 3 of the reloads were very similar. Justin's load is way far down there. You know, on the first window. The second window not as bad, but the third window, it's pretty bad. Like, why is it down there by your hip, Justin? You gotta take a break. I tell people don't drop your sights any lower than, you know, somewhere around your chin and your shoulders. If it goes below your shoulders, it's way too low. So Matt had a different tactic there, but look where the muzzle goes. Shoots, the muzzle goes up. The gun stays high, but the muzzle, like, there's not a target up there, Matt. Bring that muzzle down. You know, here's the thing. Your gun should always be pointed to where the next target's going to be. So if you're pointing the gun up, the target better be up, and it's not. It never is. You know? I think Justin does the best job on where the muzzle is, but he's lowering the gun too much. He's actually engaged behind the gun pretty good. His lower and upper body work well together.
Silicone carbide the outside, hide it all, and the gun should hopefully weigh about 3
So this was not an aiming stage. This was, you know, especially in production, we've got 3 loads off the table, and they're just in weird spots. It took me a long time to get my head into this tactics of how we were shooting. So we could shoot 6, and then we could load off the table and go and shoot 10. So what we didn't want to do is actually load off the table and go shoot 10 immediately from slide lock and have nothing on the left side if we needed to. So it kind of hemmed us into going to the middle first, to the left, middle again, and then to the right. But it was a fast-paced stage, even for production. To me, it was awkward. Nothing. It was not shooting related at all. It was just like balls to the wall. Don't mess up your reloads. You know, it was a very high point. It was 160 points for something that was non-shooting related at a shooting match. But you know, it was the only one at the match that was like this. We had another stage that was similar, but it had a little bit more shooting involved. He aimed way too hard for how high the hit factor was. I'm pretty sure he did shoot all alphas on here. I think I dropped like 10 points on the stage. And he did. He shot all alphas. So, but it was such a high hit factor still. I didn't want to get caught aiming and lose, you know, maybe if I lost a quarter second each in array, you know, that's a full second on a high hit factor. It's not worth it. Points are worth less. In slow-mo, you can really see on a couple of those shots, he really settles the gun and pushes the gun around. I was pretty much just shooting middle brown. He had a pretty good run, though. I think most people at the match would have taken it. He definitely had a better first shot than I did. I ended up fumbling around on the rack and the slide. My hands were not prepared correctly. I should have had a towel up there like he did. It took me a couple chances to try to pull the slide back. Pretty good execution, just a little bit too much aiming in my opinion. And that, I mean, but that's not necessarily, if you're gonna have a mistake, aiming too hard is not that bad of a mistake. If you're pushing to go fast, that's when you tend to make more mistakes. And he definitely aimed. He had all A's on the stage, but he's a little slow. But not a bad stage. Definitely not an aiming stage. It's all manipulation of the gun and, you know, moving your feet. So I made a mistake of not having my hands dry and the gun dry. I didn't have a towel with me up there, and that was a problem. But other than that, I was pretty happy with the stage. I really attacked it as aggressively as I could. First shot was just slow. I lost about a second on the first shot. Good kick off the position there. And I shot inside out over here just because I felt like I'd be more aggressive and shoot a little bit more points at the end there.